Well, everyone, it turns out that the Rockland County election interference case was dismissed. This is what I'm reading because I'm taking your questions today. I'm Susan Lund. I'm a psychic medium and I predict politics as well as basically saving your human butt here on this planet. Because besides predicting politics, I offer videos that help you figure out, why am I here? What stupid decision was this to become a human during this timeline? Yeah, spiritual help just like that. You can find it right here on this channel, but you can also find it on my other YouTube channel, Susan Lynn, Spiritual Way Shower, which has no politics, but all the kind of help that humans need, including me. I'm a human. But let's get started. You sent in your questions, and Rabia uh, says, because I believe, this is a very positive person. I love you for that. Because I believe the universe is always working in our favor, even if we don't recognize it sometimes. Can you please explain how or why the Rockland County interference, because sometimes we can't say certain words here, the interference case being dismissed will help us later. What's up with this case and other interference info coming out? That is a great question. And I have to say that I'm channeling, right? If you're new here, just cool your jets for a minute, check, hang around. You might find out that this is actually really helpful information. I channel my spirit guides, 60% them, 40% Susan. Really works out. A lot of my predictions are actually happening right now in real time. So, what we are getting is that from the very beginning, I told you guys this election was stolen. The very next day, I said that. I know, there's a lot of squares out there that don't believe that it was stolen, but I'm telling you it was. I don't want to get into how they did it. Doesn't matter. They did it. Number two, I have always gotten the information that this information would not be readily available. Number one. Number two, it wouldn't really come out in a way that was helpful in a sense that, aha, oh, wow, now we can go after the bad guys or the bad women or whoever they are. Uh, I don't see that happening. I've never seen that happening. It was very heartening that Rockland County said this is wrong. This, A plus B is over here equaling J. That doesn't make any sense, right? So it's heartening. But here's what I would say to your question. Oh, never mind. They want me to say this because I did write this on Threads. I am on social media as well. That I'm going to try to explain it. I've explained this from day one, but I'm going to try to explain it again. Dems and Rs, everybody thinks that if this information got out, that it would literally make us very vulnerable. It would make people lose their minds. People would lose all faith and trust in our democracy, and they can't have that. And so for this reason, you have people going along with the bad guys because for the greater good. It's like the bad guy sits down and says, "Hey, right? We have done this terrible thing." Think of any movie you've seen. I'm just now watching The Diplomat, and it is basically what's happening right now, right? In that show on Netflix, United States in the show cooperated with Britain to do a false flag on their own ship. This is a show, not reality. A show, not reality. But this happens, you guys. It happens. We go along with bad guys because in the end, they have our interest, or B, we can't let people know because they'll lose their freaking minds. This is where we are. I promise you, the Democrats know what happened. I promise you. And I promise you that they cannot reveal it because people would lose their minds. I've said this from the very beginning, right? I know you're yelling at the screen right now. You might want to just take a deep breath because you and I know this. We are able to see the truth. But there's a lot of people. Think about all the people you know who are in bad relationships who refuse to see the truth. Think about all the people you know who are doing self-destructive behaviors that's going to end their life early, but they refuse to see the truth. Okay? See what we're dealing with here now? But here's the good news. Here's the good news. The good news is that it doesn't matter Because even though we may not, and I don't think we will, get complete and total public awareness of what happened in this decade, I'm sorry to tell you, it doesn't matter, because we're going to get other information and we're going to have other aha moments and we're going to be able to see the truth more and more people are going to wake up. Why do you think the Republicans went whole hog talking about how it was bad to be awake? Because they didn't want people to wake up to the truth, right? And the Democrats that have gone along, maybe at gunpoint, so to speak, right? Like, if you don't go along with this and cover this up, I will stop funding for blah, blah, blah. So I'm not saying the Democrats are complicit in a way that they're going. I'm saying they're being held hostage by bad people, and they've had to make decisions that were for the better, greater good of the whole country, even though they had to make a deal with the devil. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Now, despite that, we're going to get parity. Is parity? They keep saying the word parity recently. And I also want to tell you guys, the spirit guides were the first ones that I ever heard use the word robber barons. Do you guys remember that? Now you have all kinds of people talking about the robber barons. Okay. When they say words, you can pretty much just know it's going to come out later. This is the way it is. So parity, we're going to get parity. We're going to get equality. We're going to get better representation, more balance. Okay, we can get those things. Now you're saying, because I'm psychic and I can read your minds, you're saying, but Susan, if we can't trust our elections, how are we ever going to get parity? How are we ever going to get equality? How are we ever going to be able to trust? Well, I'm so glad you asked that question in my head, because I'm going to answer it. And here's the answer. The elections are going to get fixed as a side benefit or a side product of the work we're doing. Okay, how does that happen? Well, we are electing, pretty much have a really good track record right now of electing very progressive, or at least solidly moderate Democrats in red races. We have done this. This is happening. This is happening. It has happened past tense, and it continues to happen. So as we get these very staunch, moderate Democrats, and even liberal Democrats, progressive Democrats, as the tide changes, we're going to have the people in place to do the work we need to do. And that is going to have an effect on the elections. Now, here's the other thing the guides are reminding me that I've told you guys that I think is happening already, but we'll see it next year. And that is, they tried to redistrict. You know, there's other ways to steal an ELECTION. There's lots of ways. You can throw people off the voter rolls the day of the election, like they do in Texas. You can change up the polling places, remove them. You can limit early voting. You can call in bomb threats to every single Democratic polling place, which has happened now the whole time. Orange Julius has been in our political sphere. These are all ways to reduce and to affect, and gerrymandering, ELECTION. Okay, so it's happening all over the place. It's not just potentially, allegedly, Musk pushing a button. It's a multi-tiered, multi-pronged attack. So what's going to happen is, by us bringing in these new blood, and the fact that even though they're doing all those things, they're redistricting and doing all those things, Dems are winning. We now have a critical mass of wokeness, so that people who are even ours, maybe not diehard MAGAs, but certainly ours, they are voting for their lives. They're voting D. They're voting blue. Okay? That is going to affect the ELECTION, because we get these people in office, and all of a sudden we're talking about better security. We're talking about paper ballots or whatever it is we're talking about. And that is how we're going to change this without ever addressing the elephant in the room, literally the elephant in the room. It's going to change. It's all going to be for the better. We have an opportunity to rebuild. It's going to get burned down to the ground. That's not going to be pretty if you've ever lost everything in your house through a flood or a fire or a tornado or something like that, or even being stolen from. You know it's no fun, but you come back like the phoenix out of the ashes and you build back better. That's what we are going to do. We're going to let this sucker burn to the ground because the rot has permeated the roots of our country. Truly. We've got to eradicate it. We have to get all the way down to the deep, deep, dark recesses of our racism and our classism. And we need to look it square in the eye. And then we need to try to own it, to forgive, to work through it, to forgive it, to make amends, and then move on. In this way, believe me when I say that is going to get fixed. I do think it's going to come out, but I don't see it being this Hail Mary, long live democracy. It was stolen, and now we're going to face it like the big adult wearing pants people we are. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. This is what I see. It doesn't mean we don't move on. It doesn't mean it doesn't get solved. It doesn't mean we don't overcome. It just means we do it in a different way. Okay, thank you for your question. Here, Joy LN says, rumor has it that several Republican members of Congress will resign before the end of their term, CMTG, which means Johnson will be out and Jeffries in. Do you see this happening? And if so, before the midterms? Flash back to last year. We saw this. I saw this. I saw Republicans leaving in droves. I saw MAGA turning against them. So this, the way I'm seeing this, it's happening now, what I saw a year ago. Yes, the Republicans that will leave. There are some like Grassley, who apparently just signed on, said, I'm going to run again, whatever. He is not his own keeper. Okay. Allegedly, he is owned by another group, entity, money, force, whatever you want, all of the above. And some of these Republicans just can't, they don't have it. They cannot control their own future. Lindsey Graham comes to mind, right? Don't we think Lindsey Graham would have checked out a long time ago? He could have been living such a nicer life right now, a more appealing life, a more fulfilling life. Instead, look what he's doing, right? And you can see these Republicans because they were people like J.D. Vance who said, you know, Orange Julius is as closest thing as we're ever going to get to a Hitler, right? And now this is J.D. said this, McConnell said this, Lindsey Graham said this. All of those people that said those things are owned. They're being blackmailed. They can't leave Congress. They will not let them. That's part of the deal. You need to stay in and do my bidding. Okay. Now, so the people that aren't, like MTG, who has been speaking her mind, even if it is, you know, schizophrenic, because one minute she's religious right or crazy MAGA, and the next minute she's all for the people. Of course, this is rebranding, which the guides also said would happen. They said, watch in real time as these Republicans change their spots, become somebody new. Those will be the ones that have some modicum, the guides are saying, of freedom, of the ability to do their own thing. Okay, so yes, those people will flee. They will flee because they can. So now the next question is, what does that mean for Jeffries and Johnson? Well, I do see Johnson being out. He could be outed, with a rainbow flag, but he could also be out of office. and I see him being out of office. I feel like the energy is strongest for this around spring. Now, I'm reading energy. If you're new here, let me just remind you that if psychics like me were right 100% of the time, we would own everything. We would be more powerful than the most powerful billionaire. Not possible. This earth does not support that kind of control, that kind of thing, that kind of energy. So I'm not going to be right 100% of the time. I'm not. If I was, I wouldn't be staring you right now. I'd be in an island made of chocolate, living my best life. So, having said that, the energy suggests that it feels like something big is happening around April, May, even into June. And when I say big, I mean like a cracking open. Like something that can't withstand the pressure anymore. It's holding together, and then it just can't, and it just cracks open. That's kind of what I see for Jeffries and for Johnson. Also I mean, we want to use the word administration lightly, don't we? I mean, is it really an administration? It's more like a coup. It's more like a I don't know what it is. But that whole entity that's in the White House gets cracked open. The guides are saying it gets a severe blow. Now, that doesn't mean that that's when Orange Julius leaves, because frankly, he's on borrowed time. Literally every day that goes by, he's on borrowed time. His health is going down the drain right in front of us. I don't I can't say for sure that he's going to cross today or this month, but he's on borrowed time. And not only that, this is an interesting thing the guides told me the other day. Let me see if I can explain it succinctly. That because they give me like thought, like whole like downloads of paragraphs, right? And then I have to sort through it and make sense in my human brain. They told me, so we all know, we predicted that JD was not a choice. He was foisted on Orange Julius. It was like an arranged marriage, the guides are saying. So we know that there's no love there. There's no loyalty there. Think about Mike Pence, who was a wet noodle until he stood up during Jan 6. But that's the kind of people that Orange Julius likes. He likes people that are never going to want to be in the limelight, never going to want his job. Kings do not have vice kings. They don't. So this is an unholy marriage right now. So we have that situation going on. We know that they brought in JD to take over, and to take over early. Not There's no way anybody at all thinks this man Orange Julius is going to live for 4 more years, or be able to spell his name or even know his name in 4 years. So we know that this was already set up to be a 1-2 punch, the guides are saying, right? Like put him in, he's in charge of the MAGAs, but as soon as they had something like Project 2025. As soon as they got their things in place, this ICE army, once here's the thing. Once they didn't need the MAGAs, then they could get rid of Trump by whatever means possible. I'm not saying anything. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm not threatening anything. I'm just reading the energy, allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. But then Trump wouldn't be necessary, right? So he wouldn't be necessary. So then JD is the president because he can rule, because he owns the ICE army and he's got the military and all the stuff. That was the plan. That was the plan. Like, I don't need the MAGAs. The MAGAs don't like me. Nobody likes me. I am an autocrat. I've got everything I need because I don't need voters and I don't need MAGA and I don't need all that stuff, right? Well, then they started figuring out, oh, snap. Oh, snap. The military is not going to just fall into line. Oh, snap. We don't have enough ICE agents to even do anything. And they're not trained. And they're rogue vigilantes, probably shaking people down for their own money and their own things. And this is not working. right? Like, this is not working the way we thought. This is where we are now. Now, there could have been an opportunity a month or two ago, or even this month, they're saying, where if Orange Julius had gone out, JD could have come in and had some very small chance of sort of getting control. But this is gone because now they went too far. You know the analogy the guides used? They use the analogy of when you have that sports hero or somebody, maybe it's an actor or somebody, and they're at the top of their game, and you're like, wow, this person is the best, they're amazing. Then they stay too long, and then they start flubbing, they start looking bad, they start performing poorly, and you're like, oh man, they need to go, but they won't go. They won't retire because they're trying to get back to the glory, and there's give me another shot, give me another shot, and it never happens. And they end up going out a loser. This is where we are. They could have done this handoff and probably kept some of the MAGAs engaged, but they've lost it. They've lost the plot, they've lost their point, they've lost their opportunity. The whole thing is crumbling now. There is nothing for JD. So this may be why back when all this went down a year ago, that me and a bunch of other people like me said, JD is not the one either. Like we don't see him in office very long. If he takes the office, he's not there long, right? So it's just looking bad. It's just looking bad for the whole administration, frankly. So what does that mean for Johnson and Jeffries? Well, what it means is that Johnson, who is a staunch Orange Julius dude, well, the Republicans are bailing out as many of them as they can. The rest of them are going to start getting poached. I've done a video that reminded me, I did a video about this a long time ago, but I get it. I predict things too far in the future. That's just my problem, right? Like I predict things 3, 6 months to a year out, and then everybody forgets about it. I get it. I don't know how to do it any other way. It really boils down to money and blackmail. Okay. So if we're looking at levers that could affect these people, if the reason for the blackmail goes away, then those people are free, meaning Congress people are free. So let's say let's call him Orange Julius, he goes away. He's out of power, whatever way that is. And he's the guy who has the blackmail situation going. These Congress people are free to either vote against Jeffries or leave Congress. Let's say Putin disappears. Guess what? That is that is the bigger source of the control and the blackmail, which we said from the very beginning. So these two levers changing, removing their influence, gives Republicans a chance to rebrand, which we've been talking about, rebranding. So yeah, if that happens between now and April, Jeffries might be in, Johnson might be out. Now, here's the other thing I need to say, because it's really the energy is really big, and that is that you're going to start hearing people say, you're going to start hearing pundits, you might even hear people that you really trust or like or admire that are liberal media, whatever. It makes me sick to my stomach. But anyway, you're going to hear people say, you know what? We need to probably be friends. Like it goes all the way back to what I just said about the Democrats making deals with the devil. You're going to hear it. We don't want to go so far, right? Like you saw the Democrats already vote against socialism. What was that about? That was to quell the fears of people worried about Mom Donnie is coming for you, right? You're going to see this. You're going to see Dems say, hey, we need to make friends with these Republicans. We need to link arms with them for the greater good of the United States of America. Do we? And so that leads me to Jeffries, because Jeffries is one of those people who's moderate, who's like, hey, let's all get together and sing Kumbaya. Let's not do anything rash. Meanwhile, you have Jasmine Crockett, one of my favorite people on the planet, an AOC, saying we're going to do something rash because this is We're on fire. When your country's on fire, it's probably a good idea to consider doing something rash, right? Like we're in an extreme situation. We're not in a situation where, well, we should consider all sides. No, we're in a situation where the call is coming inside the house. And that means that all sides, a lot of those sides, are complicit or are actually acting in America's demise. Okay? So that leads Jeffries. Jeffries is speaker. If you're watching me, you probably already have some feelings about this because you already think along the lines that I do, which is he should have stood up. He should have been more vocal. Again, is it extremes or is it the right thing to do? So, yeah, Jeffries, speaker, sure, I can see it by May. I could see it by June. There's a slim possibility that all hell could break loose, literally. I'm not going to show you the picture I just saw that has to do with Orange Julius's diaper. But anyway, all hell could break loose, and this could move very quickly um, in January. I mean, it could be this month. I can't tell you. There's so much pressure on this dam that needs to break. What is the dam that needs to break? Robber barons also have predicted this, right? I predicted that they would I predicted that Congress would be out for 3 weeks. I predicted that they would capitulate. I predicted that the White House would be destroyed and literally be empty at some point. Okay, so this is all things that are coming true right now. But timing, is it going to happen right now? Is it going to happen next month? I don't know. It depends on the robber barons saying uncle. Right now, they're not having a great Christmas. They're not having good sales. If you even look at the prices, not all of them, and certainly not food, but if you look at the whatever they call that Black Friday deals, there's 50%, 60% off things. That's a pretty good indication that retailers are saying, buy my stuff. I just need to get it out of this warehouse, right? I just need to get something in the bank. I don't care if it's 50, 60, 70% off. Now, I'm not saying everybody's doing that, but I'm saying I have personally seen some things that have made my eyebrows raise up into my scalp. Okay. So they're in extremis. They're ready to make a deal. Well, who are they going to make a deal with? This is what we predicted months ago. They would sit down with a conservative or a moderate Democrat. Let's bring Jeffries out on a plate right now. Jeffries is going to say, for the good of the country, I swear to God, somebody's going to say, I swear, for the good of the country, we need to sit down and we need to start buying their products and we need to start supporting us. And it's going to be this whole speech about Americans supporting Americans. And if we have these things where we don't buy things, then it's hurting Americans. You're going to see it. They're going to try to gaslight you into thinking that you just need to suck it up. And like corporations, they're people too, according to the Supreme Court. So you should be nice to them. So yeah, Jeffries, speaker. It's a continuation of this bus that's headed for the cliff. And that's okay, because the cliff means that we hit rock bottom at some point. And when we hit rock bottom, well, then we can start to fix the problems, right? And I think Jeffries is one of the problems. So we'll see. The guides are saying it's like chess. They make a move, we make a move. The problem is the Democrats have always made the move of giving away our power, of thinking we don't have power, of thinking we have to do this. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, because the guides are reminding me, and they've been talking about this for a long time too. Every single time the Republicans get in office, the next president who fixes it is a Democrat. Correct. However, let me show you this. I feel like I'm in a courtroom, like Exhibit A. How do they fix it? They give breaks to the robber barons. They bail out banks in 2008. They bail out the housing market. They bail out oil and gas. They bail out whoever they got to bail out, but it ain't us. Not once have we had a huge economic smash where they've said, guess what? This billions of dollars, we're not going to give it to Exxon. We're not going to give it to the banks. We're not going to give it to Wall Street. We're not going to give PPP money to businesses who are out because of the pandemic. We're going to give billions of dollars to the people. The Democrats have been participating in this trickle down ideology that doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that's a Jeffries. Get rid of the Jeffries, bring in an AOC, bring in a Jasmine Crockett, and then you have somebody, or there's others. Then you have people who are like, no, we're gonna send out checks to the people. The people will then take that money and spend it. It goes right back to the robber barons. They can't seem to figure it out. When you give us money, we spend it. We don't put it in a savings account because, frankly, we need things to live. When you give money to the robber barons, they buy back their stocks and they make their company more private, which means there's less control by those boards, by shareholders. Big difference, right? Give us the money, we're going to give it back to you. We're going to give it to the government in the form of taxes. We're going to give it to the robber barons in the form of profits, but they can't seem to figure it out. So yeah, that's what I see happening with that. That was a big, long explanation. Let's move on. Anya, oh my God, Anya Ashdown says, how much longer will ICE, this is a timing thing, so I'm just telling you, how much longer will ICE be allowed to escalate their activity? I just read that they might be going after naturalized citizens yet. Thank you for all you do, Susan. Thank you. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me just say this too, because the guides just said this morning. Oh, this work is not easy. They're gonna I've actually what do you call that? Predicted this before, okay, and it's already happened. Like the guide said months ago, they're gonna arrest a politician, an elected official. Well, they've already arrested a bunch of them, haven't they? I mean, how many have they arrested? Seriously, in parking lots of ICE facilities where these people have every right to be. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm also going to say they are in this place, right? Department of whatever you want to call them, right? Defense, the administration, all the people, the cabal. The guys just called them the cabal. They're in this place where they're losing power and they got to do something drastic. So what are their options? Start a war. Well, you already see all of our warships down outside of Venezuela. That's possible. Or really arrest somebody who is like Barack Obama. I'm not saying they're going to arrest Barack Obama. I am not saying that. I'm saying that they want to, and I'm saying they want to arrest a high value person. Like, for instance, Mark Kelly. They just started talking about arresting Mark Kelly. They're going to do it. They're going to arrest some sitting elected official. They're going to do it. They have to do it because they have to pull rank. They have to pull this power move. Is it going to work? No. But what is it meant to do? It's meant to terrify all the other Congress people into being mute, into being quiet. And I got to say, if you take a look at our Congress and then you take a look at people in communities in Chicago, communities in Oregon, communities in wherever they are, my bet is on the community people. The communities are showing up and showing out. Congress so far has been a wet noodle. So hopefully they'll grow a spine. When they start getting arrested, hopefully they'll stand up and they'll walk out and they'll join us in the streets because this is where we are. Police need to join us. Attorneys general need to, mayors, governors. Okay, we're all in this together. We're all targets. So the faster we all realize that and join forces, the faster we get rid of ICE. Okay, so that's kind of the answer to your question. But yes, they're going after natural light. They're arresting citizens. Let's make it plain and clear. If you're not white, they're going to arrest you. End of story. You could have lived on this country for 10 generations. It doesn't matter. If you're not white, you're a target. I'm sorry to say that, but you guys, this is what I've been saying from day one of my channel. This is all about racism. When people say, I don't understand. Well, then just put in the word racism, and then you can understand everything. They will vote themselves out of existence, but they're still better than that person who's not white. It's ridiculous. It's sad. It's disgusting. It's heinous. This is what we have to fix in this country. So, ICE is got power because of the people in office. So when the people in office switch, then we don't have ICE anymore. So that, to me, that could be through the holiday, like through the winter, into spring, into February, March, April. Something big is going to happen in February, March, April. I mean, I mean, I make these predictions because I'm channeling. I'm not emotional. Like, it's just like I'm going, oh, that really bad thing is going to happen, and it doesn't affect me at all. And then when it happens, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? So I just know, looking towards those months, that I'm going to be like, oh my God, But right now, I can just say it with no emotion because I'm not human, so to speak. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, I do want to say one more thing about ICE, because I'm going to die on this hill. I am going to die on this hill. I'm going to come back a year from now, 2 years from now. I don't even care if I am retired and living on a chocolate island. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to tell you guys that I was right, because I feel like we cannot heal this country. We cannot move forward the way Germany moved forward to a degree. Like, obviously, I don't know. But there's many laws in Germany about anything having to do with that whole time period, which I can't say too much about. The hill I'm going to die on is these ICE agents will be hunted, they will be hounded, they will be brought to justice. Maybe not 100% of them, but 80% will never sleep with their eyes closed. Their family will turn them in. Their friends will turn them in. Their coworkers will turn them in. There will be people who do nothing on their private time but hunt these people down. And let me just tell you something. These ICE agents, they're not the brightest. They're not the brightest people. And yet, the people who hunt them will be private citizens who are freaking brilliant when it comes to being a cyber sleuth. Freaking brilliant when it comes to really researching. And you know what? Something is going to power them that's greater than anything in their human energy. Their ancestors are going to power them. They're going to stay up all night. They're going to work on weekends. They're going to form groups. They're going to form private, very, very private, very, very secure groups. But they're going to hunt these people. So if you're watching me and I'm watching you right now, and your family member is an ICE agent, sleep tight. Just try. Okay? That's what I would have to say. Okay, Susan got spicy. Let's move on. Oh my God. Malta Martin says Bloomberg News has given a recording. Can I repeat that? Bloomberg News, not our friend, not our friend, has given a recording of a phone call between a U.S. official named Witkoff and a top Russian guy, I would say spy, assigned to get a peace deal with Ukraine. During this phone call, Witkoff was telling the guy how best to manipulate DJT, Orange Julius, into accepting the Russian wish list. Will this exposure have any negative effect on the T administration? Welcome to hell, folks. Okay, anyway, we did predict whistleblowers would be the person of the year for 2025, and you see it. Whistleblowers, well, like for instance, when on X, people think that Elon turned on location sharing. So now they found out that the MAGA 1000, group or whatever their name was, many different groups, were actually located in Turkey or Israel or Russia. So these are not real people. These are bots. They do not have the success. They do not have the support that they pretend to have. But yet the Democrats are pretending like they do. They don't. This is all a shadow operation. As you can see, because when we get an opportunity to really go and do the VOTE, it's blue. But anyway, back to this. Bloomberg News was given, your question is Witkoff, U.S. official, talked to Russia and said, this is how you handle the president to get what Russia wants. Again, we predicted this years ago, that Russian was controlling our country. So here we are. Will this exposure have a negative effect on the T administration? I wish I could say yes. You just don't know how much I want to say yes. But it won't. I mean, there's been books written about his connection to Russia. He didn't sue those people. He didn't make those people, recant or redact. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's people that have him by his tiny little, what. He doesn't sue them. Noel Kassler, who's a guy who worked on The Apprentice, on the set of The Apprentice, and he's on social media all the time saying stuff about how his diaper stinks and how they had somebody who was assigned to his diaper. It's interesting, isn't it, that Orange Julius has never sued him. He's out there saying the things. So when it's real, he can't sue them, because then we would have discovery, like when he threatened to sue or take Jack Smith to court. And Jack Smith said, I would love to meet you in court. I would love for discovery to happen. I would love to share with the world everything that I know. Well, guess what? That got shut down. Okay. The information is out there. The question is, will the American people wake up? What will be the straw that breaks the American people's back? What will be the thing that throws the cold water in their face and wakes them up? Will it be one thing? Will it be the 9 millionth one thing? So I don't see this being, I hope I'm wrong. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it. I don't see this being the thing. Should it be the thing? Yes. Should the fact that our ELECTION was stolen be the thing? Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying now? The political class cannot, even if they say this happened, Americans just aren't waking up. And if Americans don't wake up, the political class has no backing. Nobody's backing them. They're not going to put their head on the chopping block if they don't have somebody to help them. We have to wait for the American people to wake up and go, that's enough. Now, what's going to wake up the American people? Money, loss of their money, loss of their health care. I mean, right now, I would say there's a pretty good roiling, like a high simmer, almost to a boil, around what ICE is doing. It's just that ICE is doing it in such isolated areas. The United States doesn't know about it. This is also why they can't take over the United States, because you can attack Chicago, but Arizona is like, whatever, I'm still doing my thing. You can't, we're too disjointed. We're a republic for that reason. We have our own state governors, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But it also means it's hard for us all to come together at the same time and say enough. I'm telling you, the common denominator is money. Always has been money. People lose their minds when gas goes up 5 cents a gallon. Lose their minds. The media starts talking about it. It's crazy. Guess what? We are about to have an Enron. I don't really know what that means. This is what the guides say. I mean, I lived through Enron. I didn't work there, but I remember that it was horrible. And I remember that the government came in and bailed them out, bailed everybody out, but the people, The actual workers didn't get jack. But the guides tell me our country's going to go through an Enron. So that means basically like a Ponzi scheme. They're saying your your country's being run by a Ponzi scheme, and it's you're going to wake up and there's not going to be any money there, or there's not going to be any money there. Now, luckily, we can print our own money, but where it's really going to be hurting us is in the international markets pegging their currency to our dollar. That's where things are going to get really rough. Okay. Now, I don't see a depression. I don't see that. But I think that healthcare going up, jobs disappearing, quality of life, quality of life disappearing. Now, this is something that Musk talked about, like I think a year ago. He said Americans need to understand, hardship. They need to experience that. Now, why would he say that? Because they think that if they starve us out, that if they choke us out, that if they make us fight each other for that slice of bread, fight each other for that job, fight each other for that health care, they're going to win because we're busy fighting each other. They can control us. We're not talking about unions anymore. We're not talking about raising the minimum wage. We're not talking about anything except for survival. The Hunger Games, my friends, that's what they want. Well, I am happy to report to you that I feel really good about this. I know, crazy, right? But here's why. Because when they go into these communities and they try to take innocent people off the street, you've got, for once, for the love of God, white people, generally speaking, middle class white people, out there blowing their horns and their whistles and creating havoc because we're the only ones with any privilege that can do this. It's our time to stand up. It's my time to stand up because I've got immunity that nobody else has. So they're not going to be able to make us turn against each other because we're proving that we're turning towards each other. Again, go back to what I said earlier about how this isn't working, right? Like they had an opportunity where they could have done this handoff, JD could have blah, blah, blah. No, they went too far. They've gone too far. They've lost the plot. They've lost the power. Now Americans are waking up. Maybe not enough, maybe not en masse, but we're waking up. Okay. And that's what gives me hope about the future. From the very beginning of my channel, I told you guys it's about community because that's what my guides told me, right? Community. How many times have I said, please get to know your neighbor, get to know your community, find that other blue dot, even if there's only two of you, find each other, go online, find each other. But right now, day before Thanksgiving in the United States of America, which has its own problems, right? Like that's like, oh, we're celebrating genocide. That's nice. But anyway, and I don't mean to gloss over that because I'm unemotional, right? I'm not glossing over that. I'm just saying that can we give thanks for whatever we have to eat? Can we give thanks for being in this community? Can we go do something for someone? Can we be gracious? Can we be generous? Can we go help? Can we go help the homeless? Can we go help veterans? Can we go help elderly people that are shut-ins? You want to know how to win this? Do you want to know when this is going to be over? Two questions everybody asks me. Those are the two answers. The more of us that get involved in our local community, that go to schools, like right now, if you're not one of these communities, you need to know this is happening. Right now, there are moms, probably a few dads, that go out and walk the perimeter of the school. People that used to jog, on the jogging path or whatever, no, they're jogging around the school. They don't even have kids that go to that school, but they're jogging around the school. Now, why are they doing that? So that they can alert authorities for when ICE shows up. Yeah, yes. This is how we get out of this. The faster we be active in our community, the faster we stand together, the faster we show up for No Kings, the faster we show up for people who are suffering, even though we're not, the faster we get through this. That is how we get through this. That is how we fix this. We are greater than them. Once they get that message, everything's going to switch on a dime. Everything is going to switch on a dime. I promise you. That will be the straw that broke the camel's back. That will be the water that gets thrown in the eyeballs of Americans. But it has to spread through more of the country before we wake up to the horrors. We all have to experience it in some way. And the fastest way that's going to happen is through money. Okay? And again, like this is what the guide said before too. If you need help, ask for help. Don't go in your house. Don't go without your meds. Are you listening to me? Because I'm talking to you. Don't go without your meds. Get on your street corner and scream. Get on the internet and scream. Go to Fox News station. Do you think I'm kidding? Does this look like a face that's kidding? I'm not kidding. I've said this so many times. Go to your local news station and say, would you like to do a story on me? Because I can't afford my diabetic drugs. I can't afford these drugs, and I'm going to die in 3 days if I don't get them. Maybe not every agency will take that story, but a lot will, especially now. This is how we win. You ask for help. You keep asking for help until you find somebody who says, I got to help you. I've got an extra $100. Let me go to the pharmacy and pay for your prescription. If you need help, ask for help. If you can help, go give help. Alert people. Hey, this is happening. The guides are reminding me. People are adopting back when the guides also predicted that as well, that whatever SNAP was going to be, they told you SNAP was going to be cut. They said not Social Security, SNAP. SNAP got cut. Guess what was happening? People were saying, I want to adopt somebody who gets SNAP funds. I want to take you grocery shopping. If you can help people, help. If you need help, ask. These two things together make us stronger than them. That's how we get out of this. This is how we make our country unassailable, stronger than ever. They could never do it to us again. They'll never be able to gaslight us again. They'll never be able to turn us against each other again, because now, even though I don't practice your religion, even though I'm not, straight or LGBTQ, or maybe I'm trans and you're not, or maybe whatever it is that the color of our skin is different. Regardless of all that, I got to know you. And I know you're just like me, but you do things differently, or maybe you look differently, or maybe you speak differently, but I know you're just like me because I got to know you. This is the way out. Get busy in your community. I swear to God, I will talk about this until you guys turn me off and stop watching my videos. I really will. Reach across faith lines. It's the way. Reach across racial lines. Reach across socioeconomic lines. Get to know people. We're all people. We're all in this together. This is the way out. Okay, I'm going to end this video right here. I'm going to come back and do more of your questions. So, if I haven't pissed you off and you want to watch more videos, guess what? I invite you to do so. But this is serious, right? This is truly serious. And I think we're looking for solutions in the wrong places, and we just want it to be done. And you want me to tell you it's going to be done, and I can't tell you that, but I can tell you how to get it done, how to move the needle, how to create really and truly a better United States of America, where we're all better off together, where we're not used as pawns against each other. Okay. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I have spiritual videos that will help you, truly help you understand how to deal with this whole situation. I have a video that just came out today about learning who you truly are. What would you do if you knew who you were? I think a lot of us are having identity crises right now because we're like, I don't understand how this world is so dark, so horrible. What do I do? How do I do it? Check out my other channel, Susan Lynn, Spiritual Way Shower on YouTube. This is all free, right? This is all free. Lots and lots and lots of help for you. That's what I came here to do. This is my this is my soul path. It took me half of my life to find it, but that's okay. I got there. It's better late than never. If you're looking for other types of community, I have an online community that's separate from YouTube, separate from Meta, because, well, I believe our information should be safe. I believe that we should be safe, and I believe that we should be private. And in this day and age, we really need those things more than ever. So if you're looking for people that you can talk politics to, that you can just say whatever you think, and you don't have to worry about a troll or your uncle or your parents or your job seeing your post, come over and join us, right? It's only $12 a month. You can join, you can cancel anytime you want. I am there with you twice a month. Once doing readings, yes, this is the only place I offer readings. I have readings coming up with my members on December 11th. Join. You can get a very good possibility to get a reading. And I'm talking about a Zoom. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. I'm giving you a reading. I'm not talking about I'm reading alphabet A through J, and this is your general reading. I'm talking to you about your situation, okay? Also, the other time during the month that I do member group meetings is through my very popular Soul Growth Sunday. Been doing it for years. It is super popular. Those two things are about 6 hours a month. 6 hours a month that you get for $12 a month with me. But that's not all, because you get that community that you can chat, that you can share, that you can encourage, that you can ask for help. It's all there for you. Again, you can join or cancel anytime you want. Go to SusanLynnMedium.com. You can also go to SusanLynnMedium.com for classes, in-person events. I just finished my 3rd annual Connect to Empower. Wow. The guides convinced me to do an in-person event called Connect to Empower. And my first one was in Chicago. My second one was in Denver. And my third one just completed in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And when I am here to tell you that if you can ever join any kind of in-person event, be it mine, a meetup in your hometown, where you're meeting real people in reality and not AI generated things, it really is magical. It's just magical. And I'm going to say that it was the best. It was the best Connect to Empower ever. Every year I try to make it better. I strive to make it better. I listen to my attendees and I change things so that it fits your wishes better and better and better. And this year, just amazing. I'm so full of gratitude for them, for my attendees, for my members, and also for you. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you being here, which allows me to walk my path, to walk my soul path, which is helping people, which is turning people's lights on, which is creating community, which hopefully I've done in this video. Thank you so much. Please send me your comments. If you think this would be helpful for somebody, consider sharing it. You may have to get off of the TV and onto your phone to do certain things, but why not, right? We need to be active. We can't just necessarily watch things and let it go by. We actually have to, become more of an active participant in our world, to the degree that you can. Other than that, take really good care of yourself, okay? I mean, truly take good care of yourself. This is deep, dark, terrible time. It truly is. And if you're sensitive, it's incredibly hard on you. It's incredibly hard on me, right? Um, Take really, really good care of yourself, because we're going to be in the rebuilding phase where you're going to have a seat on the table if you put yourself at the table. If we're exhausted, we're tired, we're disgusted, we walk away, guess who gets to make decisions for us? It's not us. This is what the MAGAs are going to do. They're going to get disgusted. They're going to get tired. They're going to just walk away. Okay. They're going to walk away. That means there's more seats at the table for us. But we need to be able to be at the table, which means we need to have taken care of ourselves so that we have the energy still left over to sit there and say, this is what I want. I'm not going to stop talking about what I want. I want health care. I want Social Security. I want disability benefits. I want reparations for Native Americans. I want reparations for Black Americans, for Asian Americans, for Hispanic Americans, for whoever. This is what I want, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm going to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And if you think about it like this, I'm talking about it. I'm not invested in the outcome. Okay, that's an important thing. The action is the action. You live your life every day, not because you're going to die one day. That's the outcome. Don't get focused on the outcome. It's the whole thing about the journey that, frankly, sounds ridiculous, but it's true. If your journey is, I just talk about this one thing. Maybe it's stray animals. I don't know. That's your thing. Stop focusing on the outcome. Just talk about the thing. Your job is to educate people gently. Just put it out there. Walk away. Drop your seeds. Johnny Appleseed. Drop the seed and keep walking. Don't think about the outcome. Don't think about whether the seed is planted or the seed is going to grow. Don't helicopter it. Let it go. You're going to live a much happier life if you just drop seeds and keep walking. And while you're walking, look at the beautiful sunrise. Look at the beautiful trees. Give thanks. Give gratitude. Don't think about the outcome. Okay? I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a spirit navigator. Thank you so much for watching to the end. My heart goes out to you. I want the best for you. Take really good care. I'll see you soon. For entertainment purposes only,